Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 3. Now let's start the fanfic. Two figures slowly make their way toward the gates of Konoha. One, a tall, middle-aged man with long, spiky silver hair. The other, about a head shorter, dressed in all black with spiky blonde hair walked beside him. We could have just flashed here, ya know, the blonde said in a huff. Then we wouldn't have gotten to enjoy all this natural beauty. Besides, what's the rush? You're about to be knee-deep in missions, enjoy this last bit of freedom, the older man responded. I enjoyed the scenery enough. I'm not an old. Besides, I'd like to see everyone again, unless you want me to tell Tsunade you delayed us to look at some trees, the blonde retorted. Paling at the thought, the older man decides to hurry along to the checkpoint, not wanting to anger Tsunade in the slightest. Names and reason for V, oh it's you. Welcome back Jiraiya-sama, Naruto-sama, said the guard. Naruto-sama, Naruto asks while quirking an eyebrow. Naruto will do just fine. Sure, Naruto, no problem. Hokage-sama is expecting you both and left instructs to go straight there, no delays. Said if you stopped for ramen she'd make a law that they could only sell you salads. What? I'd raise an army and revolt. I'd cast off the yoke of tyranny with like-minded people that understand the importance of the noodle and the broth. Naruto said, shaking his fist. You're the most selectively stupid person I've ever met. Said Jiraiya through chuckles. Oi, no one threatens the ramen, sensei. Anyway, let's go check in before she makes good on that threat. Naruto then places his hand on Jiraiya's shoulder and both vanish without a trace. The duo appear in Tsunade's office, making not a sound, and see her hard at work. Both stand there waiting for her to notice. After a few seconds an Anbu guard coughs to alert her. Both Naruto and Jiraiya barely manage to duck the paperweight tossed at impossible speeds and it embeds itself into the wall behind them. Damn it, Tsunade, that could have hurt. Good, what have I told you about sneaking up on me, Jiraiya? Not to. Damn right. And what about you? Trying to give me a heart attack? Sensei told me to do it. I tried to talk him out of it but he said I either do it or he'd use me as a character in one of his books. Did he now? Tsunade said with a tick mark. Jiraiya has one too, not believing Naruto just lied to save himself. He'd be impressed if Naruto had done this to someone else. Jiraiya, after the briefing we need to talk. Shit, I'm going to get you back, Gaki. Her annoyance forgotten, she rushes over and embraces Naruto in a bone-crushing hug. Kachin, can't breathe, he wheezed. Tsunade releases him, blushing a little at the new name. She had grown increasingly fond of the blonde but was anxious when she proposed formally adopting him, so anxious she had to do so in a letter. She was beyond shocked when she received the documents signed 3 days later. For Naruto, he was beyond stunned. He had come to cherish the makeshift family he had with Tsunade and Shizune but was conflicted about the adoption. Accepting Tsunade doesn't mean you're rejecting me, you know. Said Kushina. I know, it's just, I don't want you to be forgotten. It's bad enough that no one speaks of how you were instrumental in sealing Kurama. Sensitive subject. I know. Sorry, Kurama, but still, I just don't want to erase you. You wouldn't be, Sochi. I can't be there for you like Tsunade can, and I know you've come to love her, but that doesn't diminish what you feel for me. Don't do this for my sake, embrace all the family you can. That'll make me happy. And with her reassurance, Naruto sent Gamakichi with the papers and became Naruto Uzumaki Senju. While the trio were getting caught up, there was a knock on the door. Gaining permission, Shizune walks in with Sakura. Sakura, a name Naruto hasn't much thought about since that night in his apartment. He hadn't seen her since then, not even in the outings with fellow rookies, and up until now he never even considered it odd. Did he just delete her from his memory along with anything related to Team 7 Naruto wonders? So deep in thought he almost missed Shizune speaking to him. You've grown, shorty. Taller than you, spinster Nichan. Shizune immediately activates her chakra scalpels and Naruto forms a Rasengan. You remember what happened the last time you tried that, Nichan? Yay. You ran to Tsunade and jumped into her arms like a bitch. Tactical retreat. Important for a shinobi to know. Don't worry, I'll teach you the tricks of the trade. Stick with me and you can stop shaming Kachin. Enough you two. Naruto, you can go but be here early tomorrow for your assessment. Okay, sensei. Sakura, old maid. Naruto says in goodbye with a grin, Shizune narrowly missing with a swipe of her chakra scalpel as he vanishes. When did he learn the Hiraishin? Shizune asks in amazement. Apparently before he left, and unless you want a 20-minute rant, just don't bother to ask him about it. Why not? Asked by the women in the office. Jiraiya sighs before answers. You know the kid had major issues with his father, right? Sakura and Tsunade go wide-eyed for different reasons. Seeing this, Jiraiya continues, Naruto doesn't care. He said as much. If people know they know and trust me, any assassin Iwa or Kumo send would meet a swift end. Kid was good when he left, he's a monster now. Anyway, apparently he's been working on the Hiraishin since the start of his 3-year training period. Had Minato's version down fast enough and had the conditioning for it, but felt a shinobi technique known for being flashy was incomplete, no matter how effective, so he spent the next year creating a shiki that not only removes the flash but suppresses any chakra spike. Kid went on and on about Minato Tem, needing his son to complete all his work. So, please, just leave it be. Okay, before we continue, Sakura, you're dismissed. Waiting for the Pinkett to leave, Tsunade begins. I was thinking of having Kakashi do his assessment, figure that'd be a good test of his abilities. No, it wouldn't. If he were serious, he'd kill Kakashi, and I'm not sure if he'd require Sage Mode to do it. He's a Toad Sage. No, he has access to Senjutsu, but it's different from what the Toads taught me because he mixes it with Biju Chakra. Are there any negative effects? Asked Tsunade. No, and it's really similar to how I do it with Ma and Pa. Since he's not the one channeling the nature chakra, the duration and activation issues are removed. So, how is he? Better. He only talks to me so much, but he seems to have resolved, to some degree, whatever was bothering him. Feeling relieved by Jiraiya's assurance, Tsunade continues, so who should do his assessment? Sensei and Danzo should be an adequate test. I'll tell him to leave all of his S-rank jutsu out of it. All. Tsunade and Shizune ask. Yay. He has 5, I think. More or less. So, is he ready? Yes. On top of the Hokage monument, Naruto sits atop his father's head, appreciating a view he hasn't seen in a year, awaiting for the presence he sensed to arrive. It's good to see you, Naruto. Same here. Congrats on the promotion. I know you deserved it. I appreciate that. How long have you been back? Just got back, actually. Checked in with Tsunade and came here. And how are you? Your letters were distressing, my friend. I didn't think they were that bad, Shino, but you've never been one to miss subtext, so I'll defer to your judgment on the issue. Hey Shino, I hope all is well. I recently had a breakthrough with my training. Learning Senjutsu is unlike anything I've ever felt. It was like a new form of consciousness, a form of pure power, and I am left wondering if I will only waste it. Shinobi kill, steal and everything else. I've accepted this reality, but I used to dream of more. I haven't even considered the nature of shinobi as a force of good since I've been training for these upcoming trials, and now that I've reached this threshold I feel adrift. I've become an extremely efficient killer and a powerful combatant, but am I no more? I can pull water out the atmosphere, but do I use it to irrigate land? No, I use it to attack. I can create a 20-foot wall of rock, and I use it only to defend myself. Is this the pinnacle of chakra or my abilities with it? I can't heal like Tsunade. My seals are mostly combat-oriented, and at the moment I was most connected with nature, I felt utterly disconnected from life. Death can't be my only legacy, but I fear I may not have a choice. Uzumaki. Naruto. While I understand your position, I find myself at a loss at how to advise you. I have dedicated myself to logic as a means of problem solving, and while logic is not divorced from concerns of morality, it can often become murky when trying to decide what one should do when the action is revolutionary in nature. I've accepted the way of shinobi, not as perfect but in such a way I can be logically consistent in my actions and my feelings. I see your struggle and grow concerned and anticipatory in equal measure if and when you resolve this conundrum. The answer may very well lead you to a path you abandoned so many years ago, the desire to be Hokage. To truly change the way of the shinobi would require you to be an excellent one that is acknowledged by all. As you know, the one who is acknowledged by all is the one who will become Hokage, and while becoming Hokage may not be the answer, it may be the final destination of the path you walk. Whatever you decide, you will not face your struggles alone, at least take peace in that. Aburame. And still you avoid the answer. Your letters increasingly had signs of depression until you left for your walkabout, so, how do you feel? I think I'm at peace with it all, at least for now. But enough about me, how are you? The two friends would spend the afternoon catching up for parting ways. As Naruto was watching throughout the village, he sees an all too familiar sight. Quickening his pace while remaining unnoticed, he walks up behind his target and wraps her in a giant hug. Hi Ten-chan, he says before the kunoichi had a chance to react. Putting her down, the annoyed girl takes a swing at her friend, which he dodges right into a hug. Hi, stupid. Maybe don't sneak up on me next time. Tenten says. Yosh, Naruto-kun, it's great to see your flames of youth still burning brightly. Thank you, Lee. Uzumaki. Sighing. Hey, Neji-chan. How's it going? Oh, it goes well. I'd do better if you wouldn't accost my girlfriend. Looking at Neji and back at Tenten, seeing her nod, he smiles at his friend. So, finally found your courage. Excellent. Well, I'm off. You crazy kids stay out of trouble. Naruto said before narrowing his eyes at Neji. Oh, and Neji, if you hurt her, I'll disappear you and everyone will know, but they won't be able to prove a thing. See ya. He finishes with a smile before disappearing without a trace. Did he just teleport? Did he mean that? Lee and Neji ask. Yes to both. I wouldn't worry since you aren't going to hurt me, right? Tenten said with an overly sweet smile. Right. Neji says as Tenten heads off. If I may be unyouthful, you're so totally Ed. I am aware, Lee. Moments after leaving, Team 10 found Naruto out of the Hyuga compound. He finds it a little distressing that the most secure compound in the village is so easily infiltrated. Why, if he wanted to, he could visit a certain Harem in the dead of night and who knows what would happen. Oh, the possibilities. When did I become a pervert? He thinks to himself as he refocuses on the task at hand. Over the wall, avoid a few guards here and there, move in silence, and eventually he finds himself at his destination. Where's Gamakichi? Really? No. Hi. No. When did you get back? Just where's Kichi? I think I'm hurt that you like my personal summons more than me, and I think the feeling's mutual. Stop being a baby. We've just had a lot of time to talk since he delivered your messages to me. Also, he can actually pull off orange. I get no respect. When did you turn on me, Hanabi? Naruto said through fake tears. You are so dramatic, you know that, right? She says before giving him a hug. So, how have things been? Tense. The clan's business affairs and relationships have been stagnating for a few years now, and while there are suspicions, there is little in the way of proof. The frustrations have caused some main branch members to take it out on the cadet branch, so tensions are high on that front. And then there is Oni-sama. What's wrong with Hinata? Naruto tried to keep his voice steady but failed miserably, causing Hanabi to smirk. What's wrong with Hinata depends on perspective. About 2 months after you left, she had a spar with Neji, not only nearly drowned him with Suiten Jutsu but tried to run him through with her ninjutsu. When the elders started to complain, she replied, if you don't like it, then do something about it. One of the elders did and got his arms broken for his trouble. Now, she does pretty much what she wants. Outside of Tsunade for official business or me, very few main branch members approach her. They're all afraid. Naruto can't help but laugh Hanabi's response. The two visit for a little longer before Naruto excuses himself as to not get caught. Besides, he has one final stop before he heads home for the night, but before he does. Here, take this. Naruto said, handing Hanabi a tri-prong kunai. If you ever need me for anything, just channel some chakra into the kunai and toss it down. I'll be here as soon as I can. Thank you, Naruto. No problem, Hanabi-chan. Flashing to a marker he left outside the Hyuga compound, Naruto makes his way to the Inuzuka compound, hoping to not run into Kiba. He proved to be unlucky today. Why are you here, Dobi? Must we do this every time, Akila? You know that's not my name. Whatever. Kira, is your mom home? No. Go away. What is your problem with me? Oh, where to start? How about the preferential treatment you get? I'd laugh at you if this weren't so sad. Deny it all you want, but you've gotten preferential treatment. Training by a Hokage and a Sannin, adopted by another Sannin, training by the strongest Junin in the village. You deserved none of it, and if anyone else had been given that, they'd be just as ahead as you are now. Oh, poor Kiba doesn't feel special. I really don't want to hear anything about preferential treatment from a clan ninja, especially the child of a clan head. I was intentionally stunted in my training until the Chunin finals. That's right, I've had a little under 4 years of real shinobi training while you've had nearly a decade. If I'm further ahead, some of that can be placed with my teachers, the rest is just the difference between us. Recall, I beat you in the prelims with almost no training. Just guts. Also, what are you going to learn from the Sandaime? I'm a ninjutsu specialist, the best since him. Do you even know your elemental affinity? No. Then we'll drop that. Besides, even if I didn't earn this preferential treatment, I deserve it for services rendered. Kiba, I'm the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. The fourth Hokage, who is my father by the way, sealed it inside of me. I've been protecting ingrates like you since the day of my birth. Hated and isolated for my involuntary service, so I think would make me due for some benefit to balance out the misery. Wah, that's better than I expected. I assumed you'd accuse me of being the Kyuubi or something equally moronic. Whatever, let's say I believe you are this Jinchu, whatever, and the son of the fourth Hokage, it just makes me dislike you even more. Maybe it came late, but you were still given an easier path. You became a Chunin and a Junin before any of us in our graduating class when you did the worst. So, what, to make up for your crappy life and to pay back the fourth, they give you undeserved promotions and advantages. You do remember how I kicked your, right? Twice in one night. You, a tracker, couldn't handle me in the forest. How can you say my promotions are undeserved when you don't know how I got them and I've demonstrated the ability to handle you? You just don't. You have Shino and Hinata snowed, but I know the truth. You got lucky a few times, but you don't deserve he. Wow, so this is about a girl I can't even be with. You're so very sad, Kiba. Jealous over a non-existent relationship. It doesn't matter, because of you our team broke up. Because of you Hinata won't even speak to me and never noticed that I'm better for her. I'm betting Hiashi would agree with me. Hinata leaving the team likely had very little to do with you. Her not speaking to you, however, is entirely because of you. You tried to hurt her and embarrass Tenten by outing us, and since you're dumb you think no one else would notice your malicious intent. We all did, and you couldn't even be a man and own it. Whatever, Kiba, I'm done. But one last thing, I'm a censor, dumbass. I know your mom is home. My asking was me being polite, so if you'll excuse me, Naruto says as he walks past Kiba to knock on the door. Trying not to lose his temper in front of his mother, Kiba storms off. Naruto proceeds to visit Tsume, telling her about his time away from the village. They are starting off strong. Naruto thinks as he sees his two senseis jutsu coming for him. No holding back, I suppose. Earth style. Mud flow wave. As Naruto activates his jutsu, a massive wave of mud emerges, circling away from the attacks aimed at him. Naruto uses chakra to ride the wave and get to the side of his two opponents with impressive speed. Seeing he has caught them by surprise, he blurs through more hand seals, Earth Style, Mud Cannon, and two massive mud balls shoot from the wave. Instead of dodging, Hiruzen creates an Earth-style mud wall that is just strong enough to endure the assault. Releasing his mud wave, Naruto jumps back, preparing for an attack. He didn't have to wait long as Danzo appeared atop Hiruzen's wall, having already completed his hand seals, wind-style, vacuum serial waves. Naruto managed to dodge the attack with a shunshin back to his starting position, allowing the attack to cause damage to the training grounds instead. Seeing Danzo has returned by Hiruzen, Naruto understands he's going to have to separate them to have a chance. Kunai Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto shouts as the kunai spread around Hiruzen and Danzo, but before the two can react, Naruto had already activated his seal, Uzumaki style, Bringer of Darkness seal, and instantly both elders are encased in unrelenting blackness. Hiruzen, I don't know how, but this is your fault, Danzo thinks while remaining calm for the potential attack. It is only due to years of experience that he was able to dodge the oncoming water dragon, not realizing it was Naruto's plan. As soon as Danzo landed, he found a new barrier erected around him with three, he assumes, shadow clones maintaining it. As soon as the Genjutsu seal was activated, Hiruzen went underground using the Earth style, underground projection fish, but as he emerged he immediately had to dodge a strike from Naruto's Rattan. Having no time to summon King Enma, Hiruzen retrieves two kunai and engages his surrogate grandson in close quarters combat. Seeing his opening, he throws one of the kunai, narrowly missing Naruto, but was right on target as the kunai dispelled one of the shadow clones, dropping the barrier. Before the other clones could react, they were dispelled by Danzo. Realizing his back is compromised, Naruto disengages and uses a shunshin to return to his starting position. Returning to his partner, Danzo sees he is the fresher of the two. Any plans, Tem? He asks. No. Second best, but we need to think of something. A war of attrition favors him and he's gotten his chakra control problem down, we can't just fling jutsu at him all day. Tisk. Damn Uzumaki. Water release. Exploding water shock wave, Naruto says, followed by an obscene amount of water rushing from his mouth, aimed at crushing Hiruzen and Danzo. Hiruzen erects another mud wall which leaves them surrounded by water. The two have little time to rest as multiple water-style, water fang bullets speed toward them from the newly formed lake, crumbling the mud wall. So distracted by the attacks they didn't notice Naruto had created a shadow clone and both had just completed their respective hand seals. Water style. Explosive bite of the water dragon, the original and the clone shout as two massive water dragons hurl themselves toward Hiruzen and Danzo, exploding on contact. Naruto, being a censor, knows the two used a last-second replacement jutsu, but he decides to wait for their next move. In the nearby forest, Hiruzen and Danzo marvel at the power of their shared apprentice, initially. It seems young Naruto wishes to taunt us with our own sensei's jutsu. It would appear so. I suggest we take the gloves off, if for no other reason than pride. It's still weird hearing you talk like that, but I agree, I won't let a teenager show me up. Earth style. Earth Dragon Jutsu. Fire style. Dragon Flame Bullet. Wind style. Pressure damage. Naruto sensed the massive chakra spikes before he saw the oncoming jutsu. Wasting no time, he and his clone converted the pre-existing water into a defense, water style, water formation wall. When the collective jutsu met, the wall absorbed most of the attack, but there was a minor explosion that threw both Naruto's back, dispelling the clone. Oi, they said no S-rank jutsu. But you wanna play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend. Blurring through one set of hand seals, Naruto stops for a moment and feels the pressure in his tenketsu, one stable. He continues with a second set. Merging the wind style, great vacuum sphere, and the fire style, dragon flame bullet, Naruto created the Sandame style, vacuum bomb. Shit. That goddamn idiot. I told him not to use this technique. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill that kid of yours, Tsunade. Seeing Jiraiya freak out has those in observation confused, until they see and feel it. An explosion generating white-hot flames, burning the nearby forest instantly with flames greedily looking for more and more fuel to feed it. Water style. Great exploding water shock wave, they hear Naruto say as a mass of water puts the massive fire out. Instinctively ducking, Naruto sees an irate Jiraiya behind him. What the hell? He says between pants. What the hell? I should Rasengan you into oblivion. You overdid it, Naruto. They started it. They broke the rules first, so if Gigi wanted to play the combination jutsu game, I'll play it. Seeing things are about to escalate, Hiruzen and Danzo step it. Jiraiya, he's right. We escalated things. Turning to Naruto, Hiruzen continues, Naruto, you must explain that jutsu. Cool, right, Gigi. Well, thinking about it like this, how are we able to have fire chakra? Our chakra doesn't contain oxygen and yet we know we can produce fire nature chakra. Thinking along those lines, the chakra is really fire potential. I worked really hard to refine my fire nature chakra and condensed it in a vacuum sphere, denying it what it needs to be fire. Think, all that potential being released not in a stream but at once. It'd seek out anything to realize its potential and you end up with my vacuum bomb. Impressive, Naruto-kun, but that's going to be labeled a kinjutsu, said Tsunade. Why? There's no risk to the user and most people wouldn't have the wind manipulation skills to even attempt it. That's a weapon of mass destruction, and someone may try to learn the technique, have shoddy control and blow themselves up. But the vacuum bomb is the key, Ka-chan. It's the source of my greatest combat discovery. Even pervy sage doesn't know because he's dumb and wouldn't get it. What are you talking about? Asked Tsunade. Gigi was so close. If he had my ability with Kage Bunshin he would have cracked it years ago. Don't you see? Most elemental Kekkei Genkai and Kekkei Tota aren't. Ka-chan, the Kekkei Genkai is the ability to natural mix elemental chakra in your tenketsu. It's hard but it can be learned. I had 200 clones, every day mixing various ratios of elemental chakra after I had mastered Gigi's process and Sage mode. I learned that if the release didn't require yang or yin release added to it then, like Mokuden, then they can be trained. Ka-chan, people will no longer have to breed or steal bloodlines. Naruto, I'd like to believe you but this goes against everything we understand about Kekkei Genkai. You don't have to believe me, watch. Shadow clone jutsu, he said, creating 5 shadow clones and the others watched patiently, then it happened. Ice style. Certain ice killing spears. Storm style. Laser circus. Crystal style. Growing crystal thorns. Boil release. Skilled mist jutsu. Lava release. Quicklime jutsu. After the demonstration each clone dispelled, leaving Naruto with an openly shocked audience, even Danzo. That's impossible, Kakashi said. If I hadn't seen it I'd agree with you, said Jiraiya. Turning to Naruto, how did you hide this from me and how did you learn those jutsu? Kurama has an eidetic memory, so seeing the jutsu performed gave me a template to work from. Why do you think I asked for those spars from Mei and Darui? Orochimaru or Kabuto kept detailed notes about their Shoten user and I saw Haku use that technique in Nami. As for how I kept it a secret, I had my clones practice at night. It still isn't combat ready, it takes too long to mix the chakra natures to be viable for anyone else and I'd prefer to not relay on my clones, it'd essentially leave my discovery unsuitable for anyone else but me. The next thing Naruto knew he was engulfed in a hug. You're a genius, kiddo. This has the potential to change so much. This is indeed beyond impressive, Naruto-kun. I would love to help you refine it. Thanks, Gigi, I need it. I can do the chakra nature mixture but creating or recreating jutsu is next to impossible without thorough knowledge of what hand seals do to mold chakra. Ah, yes, yes. Well, come by the compound, we have so much to discuss. To think, I've lived this long and got to see something new. You never cease to amaze, Naruto-kun. Getting embarrassed by the praise, he scratches the back of his head and thanks Hiruzen. All were taken by surprise when they heard what started as a chuckle before soon blooming into full-blown laughter. Danzo-sensei, are you okay? I'm fine, ha 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 ha, Naruto. It's just, ha 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 ha, in under 4 years you've taken the field of ninjutsu further than the god of shinobi has in the last 30. 4 years. Seeing Naruto was about to interrupt, he cuts him off. I don't care about your use of shadow clones. Yes, it allows you to do a lot, but you still needed the insight. Naruto, no one thought this was possible. At most, people pondered seals to perform this jutsu, and that's because we were all focused on the wrong thing. When you start your book, I'll be more than happy to help. My book? I'm not writing a book. Yes, you are. Everyone here, save Kakashi, has written a book about their area of specialty, and you've broken ground in the area of ninjutsu. You need to share your knowledge. It's your duty as a Konoha shinobi, and with your shadow clones it won't take that long. Looking at everyone, but Kakashi, nodding, he realizes he's lost this battle. Fine, I'll write the dang book. Good, now that this is settled, Naruto, I'll be giving you the next few days off as I decide on your placement, said Tsunade. I'm not going to be with Kakashi-sensei. Naruto, you may be the most powerful Junin we have. Usually it'd be highly irregular to send you with Kakashi, that'd be like having Jiraiya and I running missions. Extremely overqualified. However, since I am putting a strike team together for the Akatsuki, you likely will be paired with Kakashi and 2 others. I haven't decided who just yet. Okay, well, I'm off. Naruto says before flashing away. I need a drink, Kakashi says before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Jiraiya, we clearly need to talk more about the last 6 months of his training trip. Meet me in my office in an hour, she said as the rest vacated the training grounds. Wait, Tsunade, how are we going to explain all of this? He points to the ruined training grounds and the ice and crystal jutsu left over. To which Tsunade just shrugs and continues to leave. I don't explain things to people. If I tell them to ignore it, they will. After flashing away from the training grounds, Naruto made his way to the market district, hoping he could find who he was looking for. After a short trek, he entered the Yamanaka flower shop and smiled that his luck won out. Hey, Ino. Hey, Naruto, when did you get back? Just yesterday. Cool. So, what can I do for you today? I was actually wanting to catch up with Asuma-sensei. I figured if you were here, not only could I stop by and say hi, but you'd likely know how I could reach him if he's not on a mission. You're just in luck. We were meeting over to Kurenai's for dinner. Those 2 got engaged while you were away and she's pregnant. Well, go smokestack. If you guys had plans, I can just talk to him later. No, don't be silly, it's informal, just our 2 teams. Hinata is going to be there. Ino, I'm just saying. Troublesome. Shut up, Naruto. I get enough of that from Shika, she said as they both laugh. Well, what time was dinner? 8. Okay, I can meet you back here and we go over together. Also, if you wouldn't mind picking out a flower arrangement for me, I'd appreciate it. Yay, that's fine. Wait, I thought you garden, why would you need my help? Because I know how to make things grow, I don't know about the language of flowers. Just my luck, I express my undying love to Kurenai and she swoons because I've been upgrade from cute to smoking hottie. Then Asuma will want to fight me. Kurenai will take this as a duel for her favor. I'll beat Asuma because I'm just that good, and Kurenai will be torn between her loyalty to Asuma and the possibilities of being with a superior male. Soon tales of our duel will be spread throughout the village, with the women finding it utterly romantic and the men becoming possessive and distrustful, to the point of wanting to attack me. The women of the village will defend me as the avatar of true romantic love I am, and we'll have a gendered civil war. Somewhere in Kumo, a shinobi breaks out in tears as he felt proof of a platonic soulmate. You're an idiot, you realize this? Yes. I've been told, but seeing as how I outrank you, I can't be that much of an idiot, now can I? Quote. Yay. You think on that and I'll be back later. Bye, Ino, Naruto said before vanishing right in front of her. Meanwhile, back in the Hokage's office. He really doesn't trust you. I see. I honestly don't get it. He's seemingly forgiven Sarutobi, doesn't seem to resent the villagers anymore, but Minato and I are held in contempt. Jiraiya said, sagging in his chair. Every time I attempt to build a bridge, I just screw up. He'll learn from me, but he doesn't see me as family. Quote, I thought things were improving, what happened? Fukasaku said there was some anger Naruto was holding onto that was affecting his senjutsu training, he needed to deal with it to progress. So, he cooks up this plan, I ditch Naruto for a week, make him think I'm up to my old habits and then blows up at me, gets it all out like he did in the inn when we got you. Seeing her nod, he continues, well, I did manage to piss him off. By a lot, but not because I left, but because he saw through our little manipulation. Asked why can't I ever be direct, why can't I ever tell someone no when they plan to screw with him? Then he says that Minato and I always think we're right and are always so sure we are regardless of the damage done. Of course that confused me until he explained that both Minato and Kushina left a chakra imprint in his seal, one he's managed to sustain and has had access to them since you returned to the village. Apparently, they have access to his memories, and even with everything he's been through, Minato holds steadfast that he did the right thing. It infuriates the kid, not because he disagrees but the disregard of the harm done to him. Like me and the prophecy. Jiraiya, Tsunade says softly. While they have disagreed about Naruto in the past, she knows he cares about him and is sad he has such a difficult time showing it. I can try to talk to him for you. I wouldn't, he isn't wrong to feel that way. I left him for over a decade, never made contact and didn't try. He wasn't asking for the world, still isn't. I'll figure out a way to make it up to him, eventually. It's weird seeing you so serious, pervy sage. Both turn to see Naruto sitting by the window. Also, I didn't tell you because I wanted to surprise you. All my sensei in one spot, seeing the culmination of their time with me. I had already forgiven you about all that other stuff. You aren't as rigid as the yellow tem. Tsunade and Naruto see Jiraiya flash a genuine smile at his words. What are you doing here? I had some plans tonight, wanted to make sure it didn't interfere with anything you may have wanted to do. Ah, such a considerate son you have, Tsunade. Rolling her eyes, Tsunade answers Naruto, no, nothing planned. Have fun, but can you tell me why you never mentioned being able to talk to your parents? Because I wanted something for me. I feel like much of my life is public access and has been since I was born. I just wanted something that was meant for only me, ya know. Understandable. Okay, get out of here, both of you. I have actual work to do. Unless you want to save your poor mother and become Hokage. Ha, no, too restrictive for me, I need to be free like the wind. I recall you being quite free in Suna. Jiraiya deftly manages to dodge the kunai tossed at him, but before he can respond, Naruto vanishes, without a trace. What was that about? Oh, just him and the Cage's sister had a fling while we were in Suna. I might have to hand over my title. The gallant Naruto does have a nice ring to it. You corrupt my son and I'll pound your. So, kinky, Tsunade. He said with a chuckle. That's not what I meant. She said, fighting back a blush. It is hours later that we find Ino and Naruto outside the home of Kurenai and Asuma. Welcome. Hey, Naruto. Kakashi said you were back. I think. He was pretty hammered. Hey, Asuma-sensei. Yay. I think my assessment broke his brain. Naruto said as Ino and he entered the house. Hi Kurenai-sensei. Hey guys, Ino greets everyone. Hello, Kurenai-sensei. Naruto greets politely while handing over the bouquet, and congratulations. Thank you, Naruto, I'll put these in vase immediately. Please come in and make yourselves comfortable. The dinner was muted but amiable as the members of Team 10 and 8 discussed the goings-on. Naruto told them briefly of his travels, to the interest of everyone save Kiba. Soon the night was drawing to a close with most everyone departing. Naruto. Yes, Kurenai-sensei. I just wanted to apologize again. Now that I have a child on the way, I sometimes think what would happen if he or she were to be put in your position and. Please stop. I understand and I truly have forgiven you. I'm not one to hold a grudge. Thank you for hosting me. Is there anything I can help with? No, Asuma will take care of it. I will. Yes, unless you find the couch comfortable. I kinda do actually. He replied until he saw her look at him with a stern gaze. Okay, okay. No, shorty, I've got everything covered. Oi, I'm one of the tallest of our graduating class now. But not as tall as me. I guess I'll have to console myself with being the superior ninja then. Anytime you want a spar, Yaki. Sure, but talk to Gigi first, you might change your mind. As he walks out to the front porch, Naruto sees a familiar crop of midnight blue hair staring into the night sky. What has you so captivated, Hinata-sama? He says, while approaching. Oh, just enjoying the night, really, Uzumaki-kun. It is a nice night, but won't Hiyashi worry if you're out too late? He may, but it is of no concern to me, I'm a big girl now. I've noticed. He mutters. What was that? She asked, smiling faintly. Oh, nothing. You didn't really share much over dinner, how are you? I'm surprised my sister hadn't already filled you in. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, so are there a lot of orange, talking toads in the world? Gamakichi might be pretty good at stealth, but I'm better and I've seen him talking to Hanabi a few times. Yay. Those two are friends. Don't know how it happened, but they are. So, that's the story you're going with? She said, turning toward Naruto, an action he mirrors. What exactly are you accusing me of, Hinata-sama? Nothing untoward, I hope. Certainly not, I'm just wondering if you're keeping tabs on me. And why would I do such a thing? He said, getting closer to her. I can think of a reason or two, but it'd be mere speculation. However, if you wanted to keep an eye on me, you could have just stayed in Anbu, Gama-chan. Actually, I couldn't. The deal I struck with Ka-chan before entering put a time limit on my service. Besides, who says I want to keep an eye on you? Such arrogance, hubby Haim. Well, seeing as how you struggled to take them off me throughout dinner, it leads a girl to wonder. Oh, how do you know I wasn't looking at someone else? Because even when you are, you aren't. How long had he felt unbearably tired? Years. A lifetime. Since that day, he can't even remember anymore. The weight of his secrets and sacrifices had been unrelenting. He missed home, and yet it was for its protection that he could never return. He was made a villain to people that would never know he was acting under orders. Orders. The spell that is weaved by the lie of authority. How many times did he remind himself that he was only following orders? Too many to count, but even the first time it felt hollow. The logic was especially galling to someone like him. Puppeteers are incredibly sensitive to manipulation, for it is the underpinning of their very art. He sighs again, for once again he makes a sacrifice, and once again his actions will likely lead to the death of a cage. Sasori Dana, you okay? No, asshole, you just tried to detonate a massive explosion, killing of hundreds of people in the place I love more than anything. Oh, and I just poisoned some poor bastard that only wanted to save his brother. I'm not okay, he thinks. Fine, I just don't want to be late, let's get a move on. The alarms can be heard in the background as the two missing nin flee Suna. Sasori's guilt is only magnified by the pride he feels in the young Kage. He protected his people to the end, and a long and painful death will be his reward. Chio Basama, I hope you know what you're doing. 8 hours later. We've just received an emergency message from Suna. Akatsuki has kidnapped Gaara and poisoned his brother, Kankuro. You four are to head out immediately. I'm assigning Naruto command of the mission. Any problems with that? Everyone knew the question was rhetorical, Sakura thought. It was like a Team 7 reunion, except for this other Junin she had never met named Yamato. Kakashi looked the same, but she had heard rumor he was not considered an S-class shinobi due to an incident in Lightning Country. Then there was Naruto. It amazed her how far Naruto had come. Before he returned from his trip, She hadn't directly interacted with him since that night in his apartment, even though she had really wanted to. But what was she to say? He had been right about her. He had put forth the effort to be a real time but had been rebuffed at every turn, often physically. She wanted to apologize, to tell him how horrified she was when Sasuke tried to use the Chidori during their match. True enough, she was in love with the last Uchiha, but she wasn't blind. Sasuke intended to kill Naruto, and in the moments between him activating the jutsu and being killed in an explosion, she fully assumed Naruto was going to be killed in front of an audience, after having been humiliated. Had what Sasuke said been true? Had Naruto been stunted and held back? Why, if she knew Sasuke's intent, did she ultimately want Naruto to justify his actions? Because, irrationally, she never thought Naruto would do that. She expected that if he found some way out of his predicament, it would be by the slimmest of margins, but both Sasuke and he would still be alive. It took her weeks to get over her guilt in realizing she was prepared for Sasuke to kill Naruto or for both of them to survive. She had that little faith in Naruto's skills and potential as a ninja that he simply couldn't be a threat to anyone, so when he demonstrated he could, it felt like a betrayal, a rejection of his role. Over the years training with Shizune and Tsunade, Sakura had a lot of time to reflect on her teammates from the academy to the first Chunin exams. She had always thought of Naruto as a loser, and it took a lot of soul searching to realize he had been assigned that role before he had done anything to prove it. Had that been any other child, everyone would be mortified at his treatment, the constant bullying from children and neglect from the teachers, but it was normalized. Naruto deserved it. He deserved all of the bad and none of the good. She cried for hours when she had that breakthrough and wanted to make it up to him, but how? He had essentially moved on, training with Kakashi, then a respected Anbu operative, a student and assistant of the Hokage, has its advantages, so would he even care? Then he returned from his year-long training trip, no longer the boy she remembered but a young man. One who didn't greet her stiffly nor strictly professionally, but with a certain amount of kindness. Maybe they could mend their relationship. Meet me at the gate in 30, pack for a range of conditions, he said, and she departed. At shinobi speeds, the trip to Suna takes 3 days, so she was skeptical when Naruto stated he had a way to cut that time down. She was until she experienced teleporting for the first, and hopefully last time. Ga, Naruto, how do you handle doing this? Conditioning and practice. The effects are actually muted for you all since I encase you in a layer of my chakra, it's what's truly being transported. You have just a little, I have a ton. It ed so hard the first 100 times. He said, scratching the back of his head. How do you know the Hiraishin no Jutsu? Okay, I might as well tell you everything. Sakura, the things I'm about to share are S-rank secrets. You don't have permission to divulge them to anyone who doesn't already know, okay? She nods. What else can she do? What you were told about the Kyuubi attack was a lie. You can't kill a Biju, only contain it. The fourth sealed half of the Kyuubi's chakra into his son, me. Gaara has a Biju too, and an organization of S-rank missing nin named Akatsuki are trying to extract them from the 8 hosts. If a host has their Biju extracted, they die, almost instantly. The only reason my mom was able to survive the extraction as long as she could was because she was a full-blooded Uzumaki and had a strong life force than a normal shinobi. I am the 3rd host of the Kyuubi, the first was the wife of the Shidaime Hokage. Almost no container of a Biju asks for the burden, and likely no Biju wants to be imprisoned, but regardless, if the seal is strong enough, the two remain separate entities with minimal influence upon each other. Oh, was her intelligent reply. So this is kinda personal for you. Somewhat, but it also is because Gaara is my friend. During my time away I got to meet most of the other Jinchuriki from other hidden villages, and there is a kinship amongst us. It's a unique experience. Are you okay with all of this? I know it's a lot. It is, but if you are the 4th son, why were you alone? Virtually no one knew of my parentage, but the older generations knew of my burden, so I was made a pariah. That bit of information isn't going to help her with her guilt, that's for damn sure. The team make decent progress into wind country until they stop at an oasis for the night. She had been thinking about everything until she heard Kakashi speak. I see the stories are true, Naruto. What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? She asks. Well, our cute little team leader here created this oasis with Fuinjutsu and Suidenjutsu, isn't that right? Partially. I had help with creating the water. It wasn't all from me, but I think while we've stopped, it's a perfect time to get familiar with our skill set. Who would like to start? I will. My name is Yamato. I am a ninjutsu specialist primarily utilizing Doden and Suidenjutsu. I am a close to mid-range fighter. I am Kakashi Hatake. I am a tracker and ninjutsu specialist as well as strategist for the team. I likely have a jutsu for every occasion. Do I really have to go? Neither of those two were good for my ego. I am Sakura Haruno. I am a medic and support specialist but with strong taijutsu skills. Long-range support or close-range fighting if need be. Excellent. I am Naruto Uzumaki Senju. I specialize in nin, fuin and kenjutsu. I can fight from any range and have mastered every elemental nature release as well as space-time ninjutsu. Oh, now I just feel like shit, Sakura thought. We've all been assigned here for a reason and I'm sure with our collective skills we will save Gaara. After curing Kankuro and saving Kakashi-sensei from a granny, we picked up the trial and rushed toward Gaara's location. Her brief time in Suna had been enlightening as the people there almost revered Naruto for saving Gaara years prior and had the utmost faith he'd do it again. And she had to admit she started to believe it too when she saw him effortlessly behead Itachi Uchiha. That's not the real Itachi, he said almost flippantly as Kakashi-sensei and Yamato handled the other person, Naruto later identified as Kisame. The team ran into a barrier once they arrived at Gaara's location, but thanks to the arrival of Team 9 they eventually dispelled it, to only find Gaara's dead body. No matter what else happens, you both die today, Naruto said. His voice could have frozen water as it even scared Sakura a bit. The blonde ran off with Gaara's body, causing Naruto and Kakashi to give chase. Why was she late? What had taken so long? She said she had a plan. She said she could save him, but once again Sasori is responsible for the death of a Kazekage. Damn it! He shouts internally. It wasn't supposed to be this way. No matter what else happens, you both die today, some blonde punk said. Oh, it's the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Sasori noticed and wondered if the kid could back up his threats. Guess he'd find out later. Seeing who was left, Sasori paid special attention to his grandmother and the pink-haired girl. Is that natural? Admittedly she does pull it off, he thinks as he prepares for final battle. He took my arm. I'm going to blow that Kakashi bastard straight to hell for this. Goddammit, I hate those eyes, Itachi being an okay guy notwithstanding. Deidara thinks as he flees with Gaara's body. You just had to use your eye, didn't you? Did you have a better idea? Several. What has Uncle Kakashi said about showing him up? Don't do it when chicks are around. Fair enough. What's your idea? Charge a kunai with Raiden Chakra and throw it when I tell you. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Kakashi watches as the Shadow Clone positions himself in front of the two, not realizing the plan. Space-time barrier, the clone says as a void with kanji emerging from it appears. Now, aim to the lower right, Naruto says as he throws two kunai through the barrier. Deidara didn't have time to react. The Fuden-powered kunai ripped through his heart, the Raiden kunai deactivated his dragon and his last image was a blue-eyed blonde appear in front of him out of nowhere, grabbing the Kazekage and then disappearing just as fast. Why didn't I think of that? You rely on that eye too much, it's going to get you in trouble one day. Let's head back. You've gotten so strong, Sasori-chan, she whispers to her grandson. Go on and rest, you've earned it. Besides they are waiting for you and I won't be too long. The reassurance of his beloved grandmother is how Sasori of the Red Sands leaves the impure world. If she hadn't been feeling completely insecure about her abilities before, the battle with Sasori sure did the trick. Without Yamato's Mokuton defenses and Lady Chiyo's abilities with chakra strings, Sakura knows she'd had been of little use. Fortunately, those two were there and she was able to utilize her chakra-enhanced strength to break his puppets. Now she watches as Lady Chiyo performs some jutsu to revive the cage, at the cost of her own life. Sakura assumes. She sees Naruto look so solemn. Does he think this is how he'll end up? She wonders. It isn't too long before the cage awakens and hugs his friend, appreciating the rescue. We collect the Lady Chiyo and head back to Suna for a much-deserved rest and to pay our respects to the fallen. 2 days later. Tsuchikage-sama, urgent news. What is it, boy? What has you so animated? Deidara the Mad Bomber has been killed by Konoha Nin. Any idea who? Yes, the slated to receive the bounty are Kakashi Hatake and Naruto Uzumaki. That man's student. And Uzumaki, you say? Any intel on him? Quote. Speak. Damn it. He is likely the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, though no reports of him using its chakra can be found. He is the student of Hatake but pretty much fell off the radar a little under a year of being his student. From what we have, he apparently became a Junin around a year ago at the age of 15. No word on his skills, however. It is also alleged he is the apprentice of Jiraiya of the Sannin. Here's a picture. The Tsuchikage was quiet for several minutes, looking over every detail in the picture. Leave. Return in 10 minutes with the Junin commander and send out word for Han and Roshi. Yes, Tsuchikage-sama. The Iowa Nin barely made it out of the office before he heard it. The Tsuchikage, in blind fury, destroying everything in his office. First, that bastard decimates my army, costs me the war and humiliates our village for a generation. Then he manages to get that red-headed whore pregnant with his demon spawn and no one knows. Said son hides in plain sight for years, Jinchuriki status an apparent open secret within the village and I knew nothing. Then the little bastard kills Deidara, my son in all but blood. This will not stand. I couldn't kill that Namikaze but I will kill his son. Potential for war be damned. Those two families are a curse, that they would jointly produce a menace is inconceivable. He needs to die soon. It was soon that the Junin commander joined Unoki in his now destroyed office. The longest-serving Kage informed him of his suspicions and his need to kill the boy of their most hated enemy. I'm assuming you don't want him in the bingo book. No, I actually want him dead, not to spread his legend. We need to draw him out so Han and Roshi can deal with him, though I'd still send 3 full Junin squads to back them up just in case. And that's not overkill. We have no idea what this boy can do. I'd rather be over-prepared than under. Get more information if you can and start working on a way to get him. I need him dead as soon as possible. Yes, Tsuchikage-sama. 1 day later. Excellent work all. Your pay will be deposited by close of business tomorrow. Is there anything else? After receiving no answers, she dismisses the team. Hey, Naruto. Yay. Sakura. Would you like to grab some lunch with me? Sure. Sounds like fun. You can tell me what you've been up to for the past 3 years. And fun it was. Sakura quickly realized how engaging Naruto could be, and while it may take some time, she does hope that the two can find a way to be friends. Hey, Naruto, I felt outclassed during the mission. Do you think we could train together sometime? I'd be happy to. What would you like to work on? Speed and reaction time. I trained it with Tsunade Shisho, but I've seen how much I can improve. I know I'm not a frontline fighter, but I'd like it to be out of choice, not necessitate. Ah, yes, I understand completely. I'll certainly help where I can. I have a few ideas that suit. Naruto, what's wrong? Anbu. And as soon as he said it, an Anbu agent with a mouse mask appeared. Naruto-sama, your presence is requested in the council room, immediately, she said before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Well, this was fun while it lasted. I'll see you later, Sakura. Bye, Naruto. Extending his senses, Naruto feels a Hiraishin marker already in the council room and instantly teleports there. Upon appearing, he startles the clan heads in attendance, including his adoptive mother. Hokage-sama, I was summoned. Yes, Naruto, please sit down. We have called you here today not as a Junin of Konoha but as a clan heir. There has been an allegation that you have been directly interfering in the business of a clan, and said clan has levied a grievance with the support of one other clan head. This process has not been used in decades, but so things do not escalate, we have come here to discuss the allegation and potential remedies. Hiashi, you have the floor. Thank you, Hokage-sama. The Hyuga clan has been stagnating in our business affairs for about 3 years now. A majority of our attempts at growth have gone to a particular group, a concern that seems highly knowledgeable about internal clan affairs and the general MO of the Hyuga. So you're an influence peddler losing influence, what does that have to do with me? Insolent whelp, are you a member of this concern? No. Can you prove it? You generally aren't encouraged to attempt to prove a negative. Starting to feel frustrated, Hiashi continues, would you be willing to show us your financial documents? If you aren't a part of this concern, an audit would prove it. It might, but no, my financial affairs are my business, not yours. Besides, I don't see the issue. If you're so great, then get these opportunities back, be better. We've come here in good faith. This could be an issue between clans and you do not want that. Why wouldn't I? What would you actually do? In times past, these kinds of things caused feuds between clans. Okay. These aren't times past. Be a man, make a proper threat, or shut up and let me leave. Sum had remained quiet for most of this, but seeing Hiashi's smugsmackdown proved too amusing and she couldn't help but laugh boisterously at his current predicament. You think I'm bluffing? Yes. Yes, I do. You're not a shinobi anymore. You're just a politician that can fight. You hide behind words and your duplicity is only met with more words. You've forgotten what an immediate consequence feels like, and that's the difference between us. I don't play word games, I don't concern myself with deals in locked rooms. Make your threat. Threaten my family and then see what threatening a shinobi gets you. I'll give you a hint, you'll be fattening the Yamanaka's coffers with all the flowers you'll be buying. Lady Hokage, surely you won't allow this. What do you want me to do? This is the process. You've made it an issue between clans. Since I'm the Hokage, he is acting clan head. If he doesn't want to aid you or offer evidence to counter your allegation, what you do about it is your choice. But we know he interferes. He did it with my Ino. The smug prick's damage has yet to be fully healed. I didn't tell Ino anything specific, so your problems are your own, Inoichi, but my general position applies to you as well. If you have an issue, do something about it. But understand, the next time you burn down something of mine, I won't care how drunk you were or how accidental it was, I'll be coming to see about you. Inoichi looks at Tsunade, shocked at what Naruto just said. I only withheld it from him until I was sure he wouldn't try to harm you. Clearly he hasn't, so I made the right decision. While she had initially lied to Naruto, she had revealed the truth of the fire in the letter she gave him when he left the village. She didn't want there to be any secrets between them. When Naruto read the official report and Inoichi's confession, he shrugged. Losing the apartment hurt because of what it represented, but she wasn't wrong to delay telling him. His hard-won maturity allowed him to reach that conclusion fast enough. Troublesome, this is getting out of hand. Let's take a few steps back. Naruto, no one is threatening you. While no law says you can't, we generally stay out of the way of each other's affairs, and while that can get a bit tricky with how widespread the Hyuga dealings can be, we are hoping to come to an accord. But I'm not part of any concern. If I had a reason to undermine Hiashi, I'd just break him in front of his fellow clansmen. I prefer to be straightforward in my personal affairs. Leave all that cloak and dagger shit for the job, Dadbeo. You forget yourself, boy. The Hyuga is the strongest clan of Konoha and I stand atop its members. You. Hiashi couldn't finish his statement as the snickering, turned to full-on laughter stopped him. Tsunade, Hiruzen and Danzo could be forgiven due to what they witnessed during his assessment a week ago. Hiashi, Please just stop. We are all people of action here, bluster does not become us. Hiruzen said. Sandame-sama, what do you mean? I mean you may see a 16-year-old talking out of turn. I'm trying to assure you if anything he's being modest. Naruto has claimed innocence, you really haven't provided proof he's involved and intimidation tactics won't work. You either have to accept he's telling the truth, search for more evidence or declare yourself in conflict with the Senju. Taken aback by the Sandame's words and realizing he has trapped himself, Hiashi withdraws the complaint. If that's all, this meeting is dismissed, said Tsunade. In the park, 15 minutes later, three figures meet to discuss the session with the clan heads. I am somewhat surprised it took him this long to levy an accusation. Are we prepared for the final step? Asked Danzo. I think he is sufficiently rattled. Goading Hiashi into making one final mistake shouldn't be too difficult, but once you do this there is no turning back, stated Hiruzen. I knew that when I started this. Hiashi crossed a line, too used to screwing with people who can't strike back. He'll be humbled and stripped of his power. When I'm matriarch, the Hyuga will be a real family and can finally grow again. I thank you gentle for your efforts, I couldn't have done it without you, stated Hinata. I owed Naruto-kun that much, said Hiruzen. I just really don't like Hiashi, supplied Danzo. Morning greets us and it's the mixture of emotions on his face is, frankly, adorable. I know he has questions but I have some things to get in order before I can give them to him. I know you must be wondering what this meant, all I ask is you give me until tonight. No problem, but there is something I need to tell you. I was pulled into a meeting with the clan heads, Hiashi levied some accusations and, I kinda lost my temper. You didn't hit him, did you? No, but that might have been better. I dared him to threaten me and then implied, lightly, I'd, kill a lot of my clan if he did. Kinda. I giggled. I know he's worked on it, but his temper is a flaw of his and being screwed with by any authority figure sets him off. Hiashi is his natural enemy, so I can't even really be mad. I'd prefer if you didn't attack my clan members. How strong a preference. Fairly. Fine, Hinata-chan, I won't stand alone against the largest clan in the village. For you. He laughed, but the subtext is clear. Temper he may have, but he doesn't make empty threats, and I'd hate to see what he'd do to someone that endangered Tsunade or Shizune. Ever the romantic, Naruto-kun. As much fun as this has been, I must return to the compound as Hiashi and I have business. So, I'll see you tonight. Most certainly. A quick shower and a change of clothes later and I'm off to the compound. It's a short walk, but I take the long way as I reflect on how I got here. It likely started when I was 9 or 10, I don't remember when, but I know it was around that time I stopped caring what Hiashi thought of, well, anything. Overly critical and needlessly cruel, and never thought it could be counterproductive. In the entirety of the Hyuga clan history there had not been a female clan head, surely they can't think that an accident. But don't question any of the gendered assumptions built into our traditions. Kami forbid. I learned early on that tradition is one of the many ways the cowardly and the powerful cling to the status quo. The fact that I realized our taijutsu style was actively fighting me when I was a child went to show me that no one wanted to see it. As if a Hyuga's never been defeated before, such arrogance. Anyway, when I stopped caring about Hiashi's opinion I became free. That's why his words were just background noise the night of the preliminaries. How can you be mad I tied with a prodigy? But he's a cadet branch member, so you must be better. But you labeled him a prodigy. Irrational, simply irrational. I should be annoyed but I can only smile, something I got from Anko-sensei. Don't let stupid people annoy you, they are here to entertain you, she said. I found the truth of the quote later as I was nursing a kunai wound when she initially said it. The disappointing Hyuga and the snake mistress. Quite a pair we made. While Kurenai-sensei made us great trackers and gave us strong foundations, what I learned from Anko-sensei is what prepared me for Anbu service. Why do you want me to train you? It's not for some boy. Not entirely. Rolling her eyes, Anko goes to respond but is cut off. Look, My grand ambition and reason for being isn't some boy. I want to be the head of my clan, but to do that, my claim must be undeniable. They only respect combat ability. Kurenai sensei can only take me so far, and it isn't far enough. She may make us the best trackers, but I need something more, and as one of the best kunoichi in the village, I was hoping you could get me closer to my goal. With that said, there is a boy. One with near limitless potential that is actively being held back. If he ever gets a decent sensei and half a chance, he'll be something special, and special in our world attracts enemies. I can't be weak if I want to be with him. Anko nods in approval. Okay, not bad motivations, but that does leave the second part of the equation. Why should I train you, Gaki Haim? Because there is a lack of serious kunoichi in my generation, so why turn down one of the few who are? What if I don't care about that? Shrugging, not sure. But I am a firm believer in reciprocity, so what can I do for you? I'll have to think on it. Meet me at the Forest of Death tomorrow after your team training is done. Merciless but never cruel, every aspect of my skill set improved, and I'll be forever thankful to her. I'll have to treat her to lunch when this is over, maybe share a story or two. She did make me promise to tell her how good the fox Gaki was in the sack when I finally got him. I think it was initially to try and shock me, then it just became a source of curiosity. I wonder if he's still in bed. Damn, should have gotten one more ride in. I am doing a terrible job of focusing. Nothing underlined this point better than not noticing two of the largest chakra signatures in the village standing right by me. Are you ready to do this, Hinata-chan? Yes, Sandaime-sama. And where are you coming from? It is quite early. Danzo-sama seemed entirely too amused by his barb, and I try my best not to blush. I had a previous engagement. A ghost of a smile could be seen on his face. I'm sure you did. Good morning, Hinata-sama. A guard greets me. Hello, can you send word for my father and the elders to convene? We have honored guests and some issues to discuss. Of course. I lead my two co-conspirators to the courtyard. 3 years isn't a long time, but it can feel like it. I can't help but remember how it started. Hello, Danzo-sama. Thank you for meeting me. Of course, Hinata-san, what can I do for you? I have an issue, and it involves your student. Naruto requested permission to court me, and Hiyashi, in his infinite wisdom, made me choose between seeing Naruto and being clan head. I know not his reasons, nor do I care, but he's gone too far this time. I seek your aid and your guidance to show Hiyashi the error of his ways. Before you strip him of his position. Exactly. So, what are you thinking? I don't want to harm the clan, but allowing it to stagnate would be fine. Hiyashi and the elders are predictable, so knowing what opportunities to target wouldn't be difficult. What do you need from me? Contacts, counsel, and initially capital. I intend to join Anbu soon, so I'll have enough money to fund it after that, but I'll need help for the initial funding. Ah, not a bad idea. The amount of bounties Anbu officers collect is substantial. I don't like your father. I believe your clan is generally out for themselves first, village second, and I really don't like people screwing with my student. You have your partner, Hinata-san. Let's meet back in a few days and go over some initial plans. We'll be starting immediately. I'm looking forward to it. Sandaime-sama joined almost 2 months later, shortly after Naruto's apartment caught fire, and things really took off from there. The Hyuga were, frankly, living off past successes. Almost no one enjoys doing business with our clan, but our track record allows for a certain amount of inertia. When people were given a choice between stuck-up assholes claiming false nobility and someone who understood that I'm not doing you a favor by gracing you with my presence, they took the alternative. Eagerly. As for Naruto, I'm happy he got a family out of that ordeal, but I'd be lying if I didn't say my heart broke when I heard. We shared so much time together in that apartment, my home away from home, and I'm sure he felt the loss as well. I swore, if it had been intentional, I'd have hunted said person down and made putty of their internal organs. To learn it was Ino's father was just sad, as in pathetic. All because he put Ino on the trail of something he actually did. It boggles the mind. Hiyashi-sama and the elders have gathered and are expecting you, please follow me. And we did, only to be greeted by the stern faces of our most esteemed members. Even the one I busted up a little bit ago. I find it adorable how he avoids me, so of course I wave. Yay! You're my bitch forever and ever now, grandfather. Hinata, why have you called this meeting and what are the Sandame and Danzo-san doing here? I've come to discuss your failure in leadership as clan head and how you have allowed the Hyuga to become stagnant. How dare you? How dare I not? We have not seen significant growth in years, all under your guidance with the help of the existing council. None of you have been able to pull us out of the rut we have been experiencing because none of you are capable. For too long we have adhered to a dogmatic approach, it has made us predictable. As shinobi or business people, we need new ways. Someone with the insight to face new challenges. Tell me, father, how long did it take you to uncover the business concern that was actively undermining you? How do you know about it? The very fact you have to ask only furthers my point. We are that concern, we are the ones that have been predicting and countering your every move. You couldn't handle competition, as soon as someone tried to get what you wanted you faltered. It is time for new leadership. You dare challenge me, girl. You betray your clan and have the gall to call for my removal. I fail to see how I have betrayed anything. Am I not a member of this clan? If I am them as clan head, the contacts and opportunities I have developed would certainly go to benefit the clan. I demand to know why. You demand nothing from me, she said with an impressive amount of venom. Now is the time to be held accountable, Hiyashi. You're a failure as a clan head, a father, a man in general. The Hyuga can do better and under my stewardship we will. I refuse to step down. Then I challenge you, here and now. You can't refuse. I am the recognized heiress, it is well within my rights to challenge for leadership. Come Hiyashi, stand before your failure of a daughter. You've grown arrogant, I separated you from that boy far later than I should have. His taint is all over you. As Hiyashi finished, an impressive amount of killing intent flooded the room. Mind your words, Hiyashi. Speak of Naruto in such a way again and I may be tempted to strike you down myself, Danzo said. Is this why they are here? To fight your battles for you? It's sad you can't even see what genuine affection looks like. No, I brought them here because they are my partners. I brought them so you could see how easily I outmaneuvered you. I need no one to fight my battles for me, I'm still a shinobi. And you imply I am not. Only to save the time of outsaying it. You're just a politician that can fight. I'm sure a smirk looks wrong on my face, but I don't even care, it worked. Thank you Danzo-sama for telling me Naruto said that. Hiyashi's beyond pissed and will accept the challenge. I accept. And when you lose you will be stripped of your position and branded. Ha, I'll kill you and ever main branch elder before I let you brand me. Not that I'm going to lose, mind you. Hiyashi is now livid and it just goes to show that the Hyuga don't admire strength, just the appearance of strength. They want people they can control, they disdain the truly strong. Fine, girl. Father, call the match. You all will be a witness to me putting down this disgrace. So much talking, so little action. Come, Hiyashi-chan, no more hiding behind your position and stern glares. We square up, he's going to rush me. He'll fight textbook and try to overwhelm me. If I had my ninjutsu I'd show him the error of his ways, but I don't actually want to kill my father, for the most part. Still, his predictability is my greatest weapon. I'll embarrass him and then put him to sleep. Hajime. And of course he tries to rush in, use his superior reach against a smaller blah blah blah. Does he really think he's the only person to try this? My dual water whips prove the folly in his strategy as he narrowly avoids one hitting him in his left eye. Ah, good old water whips. A favorite training tool of Naruto. Gamma-chan, what's with that? This is a water whip, it's a training aid. Gets the best result. 20 minutes later. Faster. Hubby, if you're going to be on this squad, if people say I trained you then I want you fast. You sure you just don't want me, Gamma-chan? The swift crack of the whip across my was his only response. I didn't feel the need to point out that every time he's hit me with that whip it's been on my gamma might be telling me some things about himself. Man that likes to spank, I'll file that away for later. I feel another assault on my posterior. Too slow, and lacking focus, hubby. He's let to figure out a way past my water whips and it isn't even fun anymore, so I dispel them. Oh, here comes another rush, how original. Fine, time to end this. As soon as he is within striking distance, I jump, performing a corkscrew in the air, hitting him in his shoulders and in the back of his head, right at the brainstem. He falls unconscious. I make it look easy, but Hiashi is actually strong, and if I fought in the traditional way I wouldn't beat him, but fights are about winning. Shinobi should be primarily instrumental in their fighting philosophy. What's best is what works, what they don't suspect, and what ends your enemy with you taking as little damage as possible. Impossible. Are you going to call the match Hiyoshi? Or should I attack a defenseless man? He wants to sneer, I see it in his eyes, but he knows better. Winner and new matriarch, Hinata Hyuga. Thank you, Honorable Elder. As your new matriarch, I would like to start fixing the errors of my predecessor. Hiyoshi, Hazami, and Hitoshi, you will be going to 3 different locations within Hai no Kuni. Each is a location with a new business associate. I would like you to oversee our affairs. Impossible, we make up the majority of the Elder Council. And how are you to advise me if you do not understand the directions I am taking us? Also, are you not members of the clan? Getting no response, I continue, then, as your clan head, I have the right to assign any clan member any task I deem appropriate, and I have assigned each of you a task. I expect you ready to leave by nightfall. I will request 3 separate C-rank missions from Tsunade-sama. Why can't some branch members be our escorts? Are you going to question every decision I make? They won't be escorting you because I'll be meeting with the entirety of the cadet branch. We have some things to discuss. If there is nothing else, gentlemen, dismissed. I say as I turn and leave. Walking out of the compound with Sandame-sama and Danzo-sama, they wait to speak until we have exited the compound. Most impressive, Hinata. Thank you, Sandame-sama. I assume everything is ready when the honorable elders reach their destinations. Yes, they'll be all but cut off from any power base or influence for the foreseeable future, said Danzo. Excellent. Well, I have to see Tsunade-sama. Thank you both, for everything. Of course. You're welcome, my girl. Hello, Shizune, is Tsunade-sama free? She is just finishing up a meeting and has some free time afterward. Plenty of time for us to chat, so how are things? Did you make a man of my little Naru-chan? She said, smiling. We enjoyed ourselves. Thank you again for getting him out of the compound. No problem. Running errands for me keeps him humble and reminds him of the natural order of things. You enjoy torturing him entirely too much. It's such fun, he has no choice to take it like a good little brother. We share a laugh and then see the door to the Hokage's office open, people exiting. As they clear out, Shizune goes to the office, likely to announce my presence. The Hokage will see you now. Entering the office, I give my formal greeting, Hokage-sama, I say with a slight bow. Good morning, how may I help you? Well, there are a few things. First, I would like to officially tender my resignation from Anbu as I have just been made the head of my clan. Congratulations, she says with a genuine smile. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I would also like to request 3 C-rank escort missions for tonight. Sure. Just give the details to the mission office, the teams are on standby. Finally, I am in need a seal master. Would Jiraiya-sama be available tonight? I believe he has been hanging around the village. I'll inform him to meet you at your compound tonight. What time? 6 should be perfect. Was there anything else? No, Hokage-sama, that'll be all. Okay. Oh, Hinata. Yes, Hokage-sama. Make sure Naruto clears out some space for you. Lugging a bag back and forth is inefficient and men never think about that sort of thing. Aye. Good day, Hokage-sama. I say as I flee from her office, hearing her laugh in the background. The Hokage being aware of your life is just too awkward to deal with right now. The day proceeds, I meet with both Kurenai and Anko sensei to share my news. Both congratulate me and I thank them for helping me getting there. Even Shino had an open, for him, show of emotion when I told him. The elders having left an hour ago worked out for me as Jiraiya is not arriving. Fortunately, I had the entire cadet branch in a meeting area. Are you prepared for this, Jiraiya-sama? Yes, the documents you provided me made the seal removal an easy solve. Good. I won't delay on this. Walking into the meeting room, I begin. For too long there has been a division between main and cadet branch members. This has kept us from being a true family. I mean to see an end to that division starting today. Jiraiya-sama has found a method of removal and we will begin this process today. You will be free from the bondage you have wrongfully had to endure. I only ask that you aid me in creating a new Hyuga clan. One free from the pervasive arrogance and fear of change that we were once known for. The transition to a new way will not be easy, but monumental change never is. I see the disbelief written on their faces and I can't blame them. I'm sure most of them believed me to be a failure as well, having little interaction with me. Jiraiya stays for about 2 hours before his dwindling chakra reserves require he cease for the day. Now that it's no longer a secret, I'll teach Naruto the process and let that stamina freak handle the rest. Thank you for everything, Jiraiya-sama. I should be implementing plans for the transition. But it will hold until tomorrow. I owe someone a conversation. On the way to the Senju compound felt similar to the first I ever went to Naruto's apartment. I was so nervous that day. The walk from the academy to his apartment took twice as long as necessary as I kept considering turning around and going home. I remember walking up his stairs, my legs shaking uncontrollably, and when I knocked on his door, even I felt it was so light he wouldn't hear it. But he did and greeted me with a warm smile. Hi, Hinata. Anyo. Hi, Naruto-kun. Happy birthday, I said as I handed him his present. Thank you, Hinata. You didn't have to do this. Would you like to come in for some tea? I'd like that. Alright, gang, bring it in. I've got some bad news. After sealing the Ikibi, Sasori and Deidara were both killed. The path to peace is never easy, and while I had hoped we'd all live to see it, I guess that was just the wish of a fool. I thought we could open it up, maybe say a few words before we continued with other business. Who'd like to go first? I would, Leader-sama. Hidan, you have the floor. Now, I know my beliefs can be a little difficult for some. Jashin's way is not for everyone, but neither Sasori nor Deidara judged me. Deidara even called me an artist. Sasori was always a calming influence and Deidara was always fun. I'll miss them both. Here. Anyone else? No. Okay, as much as it hurts, we do need to move on, and I've made an executive decision. Itachi and Kisame, I want you to go after the Nanabi. Hidan and Kakuzu, Zetsu reports that the Tsuchikage will be sending the Iwa Jinchuriki to kill the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Keep an eye on that confrontation and take whichever ones are too weak to fight back. With a little luck it'll be all three. Hidan, after what happened with the Yugito ni, I must remind you, we are not torturing these poor souls for the fun of it. We are not hunting them because they deserve it. Their collective sacrifice is the only path toward lasting peace. Hi, Leader-sama. It kinda got away from me. Mistakes happen, just don't let it happen again. If there is nothing else, you are all dismissed. Leaving their meeting room, Kisame and Itachi head toward their shared room in silence. Once they arrive, they enter the room and engage some silencing seals. The Iwa Jinchuriki, can they defeat Naruto? From our little spar in Suna, I'd say on a purely skill level. No, but he may try to reason with them, invoke their shared status to avoid conflict, and that might get him hurt. You still planning to face him? The die has been cast, Kisame, and there is no avoiding it. Bullshit. You are making a choice, Itachi. You know if you just. I will speak no more of this, Kisame. I'd appreciate you just dropping it. Fine, Itachi. In a grotto under Senju Waterfall lay Hinata and Naruto, slowly stirring to greet the day. Awaking to the familiar mop of indigo hair, Naruto can't help but smile. As much as I'd like to, we can't stay like this all day, I need to get back. You sure? Naruto said, stroking her hair. Unfortunately. She said. Well, Hyuga, Hinata, liberator of the Hyuga clan, can I at least walk back with you? I would like that, Uzumaki, Naruto. That's all I got. You've accomplished nothing. Man, I think I picked wrong. Oh, how you wound me. How will I ever recover? He said in mock hurt. I'm sure I can make it up to you later. Now, no more stalling, she said as she jumps on his back. Forward, my faithful steed. If I had to put money on you riding me this morning, this is not how I'd imagine it, he said before flashing to the exit of the Senju compound. The two continue to talk, while Hinata is still on his back all the way to the Hyuga compound. This is where we must part, my good sir, she says while giving him a bow. My lady, it has been an honor and a privilege, he says, returning her gesture. The two cause the guards at the gates to chuckle, while they give each other a quick kiss and a hug and go their separate ways. As Hinata is entering her room, she is stopped by a glaring Hiashi. So this is why you betray your clan. For that boy, how have I betrayed the clan? You must establish that before you admonish my motivations for doing so, Hiashi-san. Bristling at how he was just addressed, he continues, you betray us by overturning and dismissing our traditions. Traditions older than this village. Traditions that allowed us to be the strongest clan in the village. Hinata can't help herself, she knows she shouldn't. What she is about to do is likely the very worst response she could have to this man, but it's simply too late, Hinata laughs. Hard. This man, this ridiculous, small man. When have we been the strongest clan? Surely not during the reign of the first and second Hokage. So, after the Second Shinobi War, after villages stopped ruthlessly targeting every senju they could. No, still had the Uchiha around then. Okay, so after the Uchiha massacre. Sure, I'll grant you that. So, that's been about 10 years ago, right? Hiashi curtly nods. Well, seeing as how we aren't the most powerful clan now, that means this tradition you're citing that's older than the village allowed us to be the strongest clan of Konoha for about a decade, when such designation had nothing to do with us. What do you mean we aren't the strongest clan now? The Senju clan has 2 cage-level shinobi. One of which could kill the majority of our clan if not the entirety. Surely you don't have that much faith in that boy. I'm talking about Tsunade-sama. It's crazy how people underestimate her. I'm going to tell you something that isn't widely known, Hiashi-san. Tsunade-sama has a weekly sparring session with a single Anbu squad, and every squad dreads when it's their turn. She smacks us around like we're children. No one has reportedly been able to land a clean blow on her since she started this practice 3 years ago. Our most elite ninja get handled by our leader, and you think a clan of one-trick ponies that specialize in her strongest discipline is going to touch her? You can't be that delusional. As for Naruto, I haven't seen him in action since his return, but Sandaime-sama and Danzo-sama told me about his assessment and they were beyond impressed. So, no, Hiashi, we are not the strongest clan. We've yet to produce a single S-ranked ninja in our entire history. Our traditions hold us back. Now I need to get changed because I have business to attend to. Good day. She finishes before entering her room, leaving a speechless Hiashi in the hall. In Iowa, the Sandaime Tsuchikage is sporting the largest grin on his face he's had since he learned of the death of the original Yellow Menace. Now confident that he'll kill the bastard's bastard of a son, he's almost gleeful. Yes, this may in fact spark a war, but given their Jinchuriki will be dead and he'll release the Cantainer's lineage just to drop their morale, Onoki is utterly confident in his plans. Initially Han and Roshi were reluctant to go along with this, neither having actively participated in a mission in years nor caring that the Uzumaki was really a namikaze. It still annoys him how much effort went into getting his weapons to just obey. He's supposed to point at a problem and they wipe it off the map. Either way, the plan is set and he couldn't be happier. This will change Iowa, he thought. He'll curse himself for that thought one day in the future. 1 week later, Iowa's Jinchuriki are requesting asylum. Apparently they don't feel protected by Iowa's forces against the Akatsuki threat, but they said they'd only turn themselves over to our Jinchuriki. I'm not going to lie, I don't like this. It feels a bit too convenient, but realities being what they are, I simply can't ignore it. I believe we can handle it, Tsunade-sama. That's good, Kakashi. Because of who's involved, I'll let you have command on this one. Just be alert, and if this goes sideways, regardless of how Naruto feels, kill them both. Hi. It took 3 days to get to the agreed upon meeting spot. Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about this mission. While it happened, it was unusual to brief a single member of a squad when said squad had multiple Junin. Also, Jinchuriki just leaving their village didn't happen, most were conditioned to never consider it. Naruto met enough of his family in burden to be aware of that fact, and for 2 of the oldest containers to want to defect, it just didn't add up. However, he had wanted to meet these 2, hopefully he could establish a bond with them as well. Han-san, Roshi-san, I presume. Hi. Both replied. Hi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki Senju and I'll be your escort into Konoha. Are you guys ready to go? What's the rush, Naruto-san? We like to ask you a few questions first. Okay, go ahead. What is Konoha like? Asked Han. Hot summers, tolerable winters. People are people. How were you treated there? Asked Roshi. Well enough, Naruto says before looking down and pinching the bridge of his nose. May I ask a question? Of course, Naruto-san. Those 40 Iowa shinobi, were they a just in case or will they be joining in? Both Iowa Jinchuriki dash back when Naruto says that, with Roshi performing hand seals. Lave style. Melting apparition jutsu, he says, and a stream of mud is released from his mouth, melting everything it touches on contact. Naruto manages to dodge but is instantly struck by Han, a powerful blow that sends him flying backward. Looking to press his luck, Han races toward the down Naruto, only to be struck long distance by Storm Style, Laser Circus from a Naruto clone masked by a genjutsu from Sakura, catching Han in the abdomen. Naruto instantly places a chakra suppression seal on Han. Roshi, realizing he can't perform a jutsu that close to Han without killing him, moves toward Naruto but is entrapped by wood, long enough for Kakashi to apply a chakra suppression seal as well. Sensei, we have a problem. There are 40 Iowa shinobi speeding toward here, but that's the least of it. You ain't kidding, brat, said Hidan. As the Konoha shinobi square up. Kakashi Hatake, I could get quite the bounty from your head, Brad, but we aren't here for you nor the Kyuubi today. You have a choice, try to fight us and you'll either be killed by us or the Iowa Nin. Allow us to leave, which gives you the opportunity to avoid fighting the Iowa Nin as well. What's it going to be? To this, Naruto is shaking mad. Yes, they just try to kill him, and if his team hadn't prepared for that likely outcome he may very well have been seriously injured, but can he let them suffer what they are about to? And what about Kurama's family? Go. He hears Kakashi says and he sees the smug satisfaction on the face of the one with the scythe. That smug, my victory was always assured face. How Naruto hates that face. Such a Sasuke face. A face in need of humbling. The Akatsuki have collected the down Jinchuriki, the Iowa Nin were approaching. They should flee. The smart thing to do is flee. They are going to be tortured, the Biju will be sealed and God knows what, he thinks. It's unpleasant but my siblings will reform. Naruto, you know what you need to do. You know better than valuing non-existent bonds. Fine, but if I'm going to do this I'm doing it, are you ready? Yes. Tenzo, Sakura and Kakashi were looking at Naruto. He hadn't moved for several seconds and slowly start to see orange markings emerge on his face. The markings are around his eyes and one on his forehead, similar to Tsunade's with a semicircle beneath it. When Naruto opened his eyes, they saw that his eyes were no longer blue but violet eyes with black slitted pupils. They then saw Naruto hold his hand up to the sky and saw a Rasengan-like ball form, but shortly after started looking like a shuriken and was making a humming sound. Only Kakashi truly understood what was happening. He muttered in awe. As soon as the technique was stabilized, Naruto threw it at the Akatsuki members. Each alerted by the sound and dodged, one to the left, one to the right, but neither actually managed to avoid the technique as it soon exploded in a maelstrom of microscopic blades, lasting over 5 seconds. Soon there was a release of energy from the two Jinchuriki, signaling they were killed, while neither Akatsuki member was getting up, but they could hear a stream of profanity from the one with a scythe. "How is he still alive?" asked Sakura. "Jushinist," answered the three Junin. "We should get out of here. We can still avoid the Iwa Nin. We have enough of a head start even without your Hiraishin, Naruto," said Kakashi. "I can't. Unfortunately, the events that have just transpired have succeeded in getting my blood up." "Oh," Kakashi replied, knowing there wasn't much to do as the Uzumaki weren't known for being the most chill of people. He sees his student summon 5 shadow clones. 2 toss a number of kunai that then multiply into several dozen, and Kakashi has to stop himself from being jealous of the luxury to overload jutsu with no cost. Soon those kunai all explode, creating a great deal of debris, and Kakashi can't put on his hand on the point. The other 3 run through hand seals for the earth style. Earth Siege Jutsu is an earth wall with a series of spikes formed just at the edge of the debris field and then dispelled themselves. With his Sharingan active, he watched as the original Naruto and the 2 remaining clones performed 63 hand seals before saying, "Sage art, nature's fury," and soon Kakashi watched as 3 funnel clouds emerged from the sky headed speedily toward the ground. The Iowa Nin were caught unaware, and by the time they noticed the tornadoes headed toward the torn terrain, it was too late. The sound of flesh meeting rock and tree and bodies colliding with each other was sickening. Their muffled screams of pure agony was even worse. 1 minute, 14 seconds is how long Naruto held the jutsu, and once it stopped, no Iowa Nin was moving. Naruto stated he could sense some still existing chakra signatures but not many, and after sealing Hidan in a prisoner scroll, the team started to return home. "Hey, Naruto, what was that? Could you be more specific?" Sakura. "I don't think I can." "Okay. The markings were a result of me entering Sage mode, which happens when you can absorb and utilize nature chakra and allows me to perform senjutsu. The technique that killed Han, Roshi, and that Akatsuki guy was the completed Rasengan, completed with wind chakra, and I call it the Rasenshiruken. And the last offensive technique was just me extending, me pulling and forming wind outside of me, similar to how the Nadaime pulled moisture from the air. I just used it to form a few tornadoes." "Naruto, that's amazing. Thank you, Sakura. I'm just glad no one was hurt, but I do wonder what this will do to the Akatsuki. We also need to figure out why Aiwa is suddenly interested in killing you," said Kakashi. "Could they have found out about your heritage, Naruto? That could be it. Killing their most infamous missing nin would get you on their radar. We need to hurry back and report all of this. Naruto, you may have to be shelved for a while," Kakashi offered. "I don't see how that benefits anyone. Naruto, it is very possible an entire hidden village wants you dead. That wouldn't exactly be a new experience." Kakashi, Tenzo and Sakura all bristle at that. Granted, but the difference being Aiwa would have the support of their kage. "Naruto, I know you're strong, but this should worry you. If Aiwa becomes a problem, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, but until the Akatsuki is neutralized completely, putting me on the bench is ridiculous. Aiwa and Kumo both have a price on your head and you still complete missions. Naruto, I don't think you understand the depths of their irrational hatred of your father. This is a serious threat." "I understand that, sensei. There isn't much to be done now, not until we talk to Tsunade-sama. Is he awake?" "Yes, Tsuchikage-sama, right this way." Onoki was livid, almost beyond words. 2 Jinchuriki, 40 Junin and 2S rank missing nin defeated by that goddamn Namikaze bastard. Of course, none of his shinobi were close enough to confirm it was all done by the Namikaze. Every Iwan nin has gotten the impression that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is to be referred to only as the Namikaze, and nothing else solely, but Onoki knows it's true and his belief is stronger than any fact. Now, Onoki is trying to get what information he can from the 5 survivors of that misadventure. Can you tell me what happened? Hi, Tsuchikage-sama. We were all keeping a pretty significant distance just in case Han and Roshi accessed their Biju. At the first sign of conflict we all started to move in, but we didn't rush as we didn't feel the release of any potent chakra and figured Han and Roshi subdued the Uzu, Namikaze. Soon we saw a giant orb of chakra and all started picking up the pace. Soon we heard a number of explosions and saw an earth wall with spikes coming out of it. Before we could even begin to move around the wall, 3 tornadoes emerged from the sky, the force of which threw me back and gave me a concussion. I only remember waking up here, Sandaime-sama. Thank you, son, get some rest. Soon Tsuchikage returned to his office with his advisors. We barely have enough for a bingo book entry. Damn it, how did they hide this brat? How? Normally, if a shinobi drops off the radar I'd assume Anbu service, Onoki-sama. That can't be, can it? No one puts their Jinchuriki through that kind of training. We have to allow for the possibility that Konoha may. They were never known for utilizing their previous Jinchuriki, we don't even know who they were. Those insipid tree huggers would make a shinobi of their weapon. One more reason to despise them, spat Onoki. What are we going to do? Any more overt attempts on the Namikaze's life and we may find ourselves at war with no Jinchuriki and no S-rank shinobi outside of you. I don't know, just give me some time to think. Logically war isn't worth it to kill one brat, but if we allow the Namikaze to live that could be bad for us in the very near future. I'll weigh my options. In aim, the true leader of the Akatsuki is taking the delay of his plans as well as one might imagine. That Ing brat. I should have killed him years ago. I don't care if I have to wait longer, I'm going to rip the Kyuubi out of him just like I did that mother of his and watch as it destroys Konoha. Hey, yes, that's what I'll do. But I'll torture him first. Maybe make him watch me kill that rental mom he has, yes he'll suffer. Madara, you need to calm down. This was never about senseless violence, we need to rethink our plans. The 4 and 5 tails won't return for at least 3 years and we need new members. Shut your mouth, Nagato. I don't know how but this is partially your fault, so shut up before you piss me off. Madara, buddy, do we need to get Itachi and Kisame here for a hug circle? You're kinda losing yourself to your anger. I'm going to that new juice bar. Could you get me an apple, carrot and ginger juice? Asked Conan. Oh, I'll take a mixed berry and citrus, said Nagato through his diva path. Fine, anything else? No, they both say and Madara leaves. That guy needs a vacation, nay, Conan-chan. So, he says their base is in AIM. Not easy to get into but I can manage. Guess I'll be leaving soon. Not alone you won't. Yes, alone. I work alone. Hell, I've never even ran a mission with Naruto, I just trained the brat. Jiraiya, you are not going there alone, that is final. Why so insistent? You starting to fall for me. If you didn't have a mission to go to I'd pound you into the floor, she said, shaking her fist. Fine, he said, submissively waving his hands, I'll go with one other person but no masks. What's your problem with Anbu? They'd be ideal for this level of infiltration. Because they're weird and I always feel left out. I'm surrounded by idiots. Responded Tsunade before face palming. What about Anko? Jiraiya asks, trying to get back on track. She's been going hard at our guest, needs a rest. Then Tsunade has an idea, how about an Anko trained former mask? Jiraiya takes a moment before who Tsunade is referring to. She's a clan head. Since when does being a clan head mean you aren't a ninja? Besides, she's one of my best infiltrators and can hold her own in a fight if need be. Fine, let her know we leave tomorrow. I'm never traveling by tote again. It wasn't that bad. It was entirely that bad. Activating her Byakugan, and this isn't normal rain, likely some type of detection jutsu. Whoever created it knows we are here. Shit. Then scan for the largest chakra reserves, that'll likely be where we need to head. If they've already been alerted, shouldn't we not press our luck? Element of surprise is gone. Normally, but two of the members Hidan described sounded familiar. I need to see if it's really them. I may be able to talk to them. Okay, I can see 8 chakra signatures, in that northwest tower. 7 of them are weird, but I don't know how to explain it. Guess we'll just have to figure it out once we get there. Yay, she said, not bothering to hide the sarcasm. The battle was fierce, doing a significant amount of damage to the tower. Jiraiya had managed to subdue all of the false bodies, sealing them so they couldn't be reactivated, and was standing in front of his former students, Nagato and Konan, who herself looked worse for wear while she was holding a, hopefully unconscious Hinata. Konan, did you really have to use that many explosive notes? Konan scratched the back of her head. She was tougher than I was expecting, kept soaking me or shocking me. Kinda surprised I only knocked her out, honestly. Ah, understandable. Hey, sensei, you defeated my paths, you're still pretty strong for an old guy. Nagato said. I'm not that old, brat. But what is this? What happened to you and why are you doing this? We were set up by Hanzo and one of your elders named Danzo. It is what killed Yahiko, and my response caused me to require this setup. Not ideal, but we moved one. As far as why I'm doing this, it's for peace. You can't have each major village contain a super weapon or two and think you're going to have peace. But if one nation had all the super weapons and had the potential to cause a great deal of pain, everyone else would share that pain. They couldn't bother fighting amongst themselves when a larger threat existed. They'd bond over that shared threat and learn to work together, learn to see the boundaries between villages as imaginary, and see the shared humanity within each other. Jiraiya was struck by his student's words, understanding the merits of his goals and conceding the logic in the plan. Nagato, that isn't the worst plan for peace I've ever heard, but I can't allow you to do this. I won't allow you to sacrifice my godson. There are other ways than threatening the elemental nations with the combined power of the 9 Biju. Like what? If you have the answer, sensei, then tell me. With 2 of the Biju needing to reform and 3 yet to be extracted, a change in our plan may be necessary, so tell me your plan. I don't have it, but callously sacrificing those who are some of the greatest victims of the shinobi system is wrong. They deserve peace as much as anyone. I don't disagree, but once again, you have no alternative. I don't enjoy hurting these poor souls, being sacrificed yet again, but I see no other way. I've yet to see another way, and I've wanted to, sensei. But it eludes me at every turn. Fine, Nagato, just give me some time. Put a pause on this plan and we can come up with something together. Sensei, okay, take the girl and go. Wheel, Madara, stop. Nagato shouts, but to no avail, as the kunai had already entered Jiraiya's neck, the sanin quickly bleeding out. Why did you do that? That was senseless. Shut up. Just shut up. There will be no change in plans, we will extract the Biju. All of the Biju, and that's final. Konan, lock her up with the 7 tails. Zetsu. Yes, Madara-sama, come, I have a message for you to deliver to Konoha. It's time for my favorite pet to be returned to me. Nagato, make sure your shinobi are ready for an assault. Uzumaki will be here in a few days' time. Outside of AIM stood 5 Konoha shinobi. They are clearly expecting us, given the amount of squads stationed there, said Neji. Have you spotted Hinata yet? Asked Naruto. Yes, she's in a tower, but getting there won't be easy. I'll make sure you can get there, just get there. Also, be cautious of someone wearing an orange and black swirled mask. He likely will be coming for me, but just in case, don't try to fight him. Yosh, when do we begin our youthful assault? Asked Guy. Naruto began performing a series of hand seals before stopping for a moment and performing some more. Sandame style. Vacuum bomb, Naruto said before unleashing his original jutsu upon AIM Shinobi. But he wasn't done yet. Mass shadow clone jutsu, he said, creating 400 shadow clones. Team Guy didn't have time to gawk at the extensive damage done by that jutsu nor the amount of shadow clones created by Naruto before he started giving orders. I need 6 of you with me, the rest go with Team Guy. Get to that tower, get Hinata back in retreat. Don't wait for me. We aren't leaving without you. That's an order, Tenten. Now, you know what to do. Naruto said and then shunshined away. Guy quickly got command of his team and his clone arm and they marched on AIM, surprising all when each clone activated their own Raijin no Ken. He trusted that Team Guy would make it to the tower while Naruto headed toward the center of the village, cutting down any AIM nin that crossed his path. Their formations were lackluster. They clearly had never planned for an attack on the village and that disorganization allowed Naruto to dispatch the squads with minimal effort. Once he made it to the center he was greeted by his target. Little fox, so nice of you to make it. Come to give me what's mine, I see. Come to die like a good boy. Your end will be ugly, your end will be undignified and you will die on your knees, Uchiha, Naruto warned before he and his clones covered the area with Hiraishin Kunai. Your father couldn't kill me with that, what makes you think you can? I thought you'd have something different for me, little fox. As he was gloating, the Naruto clones flashed away, surrounding Madara and started performing a series of hand seals. Madara, too amused by what he was seeing, didn't attempt to phase away from the potential attack. Oh, what is this, little fox? He said and soon found himself surrounded in a dome of fuinjutsu seals large enough to cover the roof they were occupying. He put his focus back on the original Naruto and saw the blonde dashing toward him, his kodachi drawn. Madara could only smirk at the foolishness of the boy and decided to wait to the last minute to demonstrate that head-on physical attacks will not touch him, only to find himself stabbed on the right side of his body and receiving a spin kick to the head, hard enough to shatter his mask. You know, to manipulate time and/or space one must do so from a stable point of time and space. But if you were to somehow make an area unstable, then you cannot say using the Hiraishin nor that sea-heating bitch eye of yours to avoid punishment. I know where I stabbed you didn't do much damage, it was a warning. I could have ended this in one shot, curious why I didn't. Because you're stupid. Madara said before removing the kodachi and throwing it away. No, Obito ni, it isn't that at all. See, you will die screaming, that is assured, but I need you to understand the depths of your failure. Ours is not a story of me facing and falling against insurmountable odds. Ours is not the dynamic of a scrappy underdog against an overwhelming force. Ours is the story of a sad, little bitch that allowed the single greatest threat to his existence to mature. To allow the kunai meant for his throat to become as sharp as it could for as long as it could. It's the story of a failure and a coward that will die how he lived. Rin isn't waiting for you, Obito. She won't be there. Failures don't get to be comforted by their dreamgirls in the pure world. There is nothing but unrelenting darkness. You will not even be a footnote to history. So, come, little Uchiha. Come and embrace your end. How? The now identified Obito asked, shocked that Naruto had figured out his heavily guarded secret. Kakashi used to talk about you and how much he regretted concerning you. Figured since I killed a teammate I could relate, for one. I've seen your ability. I've seen Kakashi demonstrate a similar one, for two. You both have one Sharingan eye, opposite sides of your face, for three. But no more talk, Nichin, death awaits you. Hearing this, Obito performs the hand seals for the fire style, Grand Fireball Jutsu to only have it met with Naruto's water style, Water Bullet Jutsu. Obito attempts another jutsu, only to be interrupted by Naruto's charge, his single remaining kodachi looking to gravely wound the former Konoha nin. Obito matches Naruto's strikes with aid of his Sharingan, but a wind chakra extended blade on his blindside leads to a gash on his left shoulder, which Obito responds to with a kick to Naruto's abdomen. The two renew their exchange, Naruto managing to cut but not critically wound Obito, with Obito landing counters but not really hurting Naruto. Obito does manage to disarm Naruto of his last Kodachi but takes a right high kick to his neck for the effort and rolls away from Naruto, trying to understand how he could be losing to this kid. Is this it? No wonder you need the Biju, you can't accomplish anything on your own, Obito ni. Is this why Rin-chan preferred Kakashi ni? Did you know those two got close before Rin died? You know, closer than she would have ever been with you. Her best friend. She problem didn't even see you as a male, just some genderless clown that amused her. Feeling a new level of rage, Obito launches another Kaden Jutsu, fire style, Great Fire Annihilation Jutsu. Seeing the massive flame headed for him, Naruto unrolls a scroll and activates the fire suppression seal. Taking advantage of the momentary distract, Obito stabs at Naruto, managing to plunge a kunai in his left shoulder. I should have put a kunai in your head instead of placing that explosive note on you, he said as he takes a series of follow-up swipes at Naruto, each failed attempt making him more and more unhinged. Obito tries for an overhand stab with his left hand but it is blocked. Thinking quickly, Obito drops the kunai and catches it with his right hand, but before he can continue his assault, Naruto rotates to his right, stabbing Obito in the back of his left leg. Not easing up for a second, he quickly forms a Rasengan and hits Obito in the back, tearing through the man's artificial body and launching him near the barrier surrounding them. Focusing Kurama's chakra, Naruto manages to heal the stab wound before he readies for another exchange, deciding to taunt the missing Uchiha. Just as I thought. That I allowed you to avoid responsibility. No attack could touch you. No defense could stop you, so you let everything else slide, didn't you? 60 clones, 10 hours a day for 2.5 years. That's how long it took me to come up with this barrier, with the ability to take away your greatest advantage. But that wasn't nearly enough. No, not at all. As soon as Naruto said this, the symbols started to change and then began to flow toward Obito, condensing as it did. Moments later, Obito starts clutching his shoulder in pain. His soul onyx eye looks up to a pair of blues. What did you do to me? I sealed your chakra. Seriously, had my dad just put a chakra suppression seal on you, he could have saved us some trouble, but it is what it is. So, any last words? We could have had true peace, you selfish little shit. Well, I never intended to remember them anyway, but your last words. Now, to make good on my threat. You know, I was able to view my parents' memories along with Kurama's on that night. When you ripped Kurama from her, something that would have been incredibly painful, I noticed she didn't scream. She knew it would kill her, but her only concern was for me. Naruto said with a single unshed tear. So, how best to dispatch her killer? To show him he wasn't half the ninja she was, to give away that final lie. Naruto starts to walk behind Obito, a kneeling Obito. Your life is defined by your failures, as an Uchiha, as a shinobi, as a friend, and now as a man. You were never going to succeed, you were always going to fail. So, you believe in fate now? The neutralized Uchiha asks. Ha, no, asshole. A failure can be more if they have the guts to face themselves and never give up. You turned away from the world, ran from your pain instead of living through it. However, I do have to take something back, you'll actually succeed at something the Uchiha did best. What's that? Being killed by a senju, Naruto replied before activating the Raijin no Ken and beheading the traitorous Nin in a single motion. Releasing the barrier, Naruto sees dozens of fallen aim Nin around his shadow clones. Seeing the massacre surrounding them, he can only quirk an eyebrow as if to ask, "Are you for real?" Seeing the unasked question, one clone responds, "They just kept coming, boss. We didn't have much choice. Granted, but 3 of you did all that. Were you? How are you surprised?" Another clone shot back. "Fair enough," he said as they continued toward the tower, faintly hearing the screams of a broken, dying man.